Hey everybody, so this topic is what is Ayurveda? You're going to see a little bit more about Ayurveda. You're going to see me talking a lot more about Ayurveda. And Ayurveda to me is putting all the puzzle pieces of life and lifestyle together. It's been such an amazing journey for myself to learn all of this, and it'll still be a continued journey as well. But Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old practice coming from India, but it's essentially just going by your nature, eating the way that nature intended, focusing on building a strong immune system, but very focused on the elements of the earth, the elements that the earth provide us with. So it's said that, there's elements, there's fire, there's earth, there's water, there's wind, there's ether and wood, but in Ayurveda we talk about earth, water, fire, and air. And what's said through Ayurveda is how we find out ways to live within our own balance, because everyone is going to be very, very different, is that when we're born, there's a little bit of a blip in our elemental system. We have all of those elements within us, so does the earth, they're everywhere. But when we're born, there's a little bit of a blip where we might have excess of something. We might have excess fire, might have excess air, excess earth. We might have excess of two of those things. We might have excess of all three of those things, right? So this is going to create certain things within you that's going to happen that you're going to notice. So I'm just going to give you a quick little example is if you have more earth, then you are generally a little more kapha. Do you fall completely into that whole kapha section? Not necessarily. If you have excess fire and a little bit of water, just a little bit, then you're pitta. Pitta, this is me, pitta. So that's the fire element. If you have more air, then you are vata, then you're a little more vata. We can make it complicated. You can easily be vata pitta, pitta vata, pitta kapha, kapha pitta, kapha vata. But I don't want to confuse you right now. So essentially all that means is that we have excess of that element within us. I'm going to explain this a lot more in a lot more detail, but through the practices of Ayurveda, we can find balance within ourselves. That includes the things you do in your lifestyle, the thoughts that you are having, the way you perceive things, what types of movement works for you best. Everything you do in your lifestyle, essentially. And then with your immune system as well, there's ways that you can build your immune system. Because my immune system is more fire, more pitta, I can digest really, really well. But I already know that of myself. But I can also over-digest, coming from like diarrhea, right? That would be over-digestion. That would be too much fire, too much heat. But then those people who are earth, they need the fire. They need that little bit of lift to be able to digest better. I'm going to explain this a lot more in details. I'm going to talk about vata, a whole video on vata. I'm going to talk about a whole video on pitta and a whole video on kapha. Even though you can be dual dosh or tri-dosh, meaning dosh is the constitutions, would be the pitta, vata, kapha. I'm not going to go into that because that can get really, really confusing. So we're just going to keep it fairly simple for you guys. So stay tuned, have fun, feel free to check it out, research, Google it if you're like, what is that? That sounds interesting. Research it for yourself, check it out for yourself. But I look forward to chatting with you a little bit more about Ayurveda. So fun.